Look, and I'm not saying I'm an expert. So if you think I've messed this up, by all means, call me out on it. Be like, Sparks, you're one of these fucking idiots that think you're smart. And I really don't. All right. Are you ready? Pike.
And I was kidding about the factoid. Everyone else says that. It's really stupid.
It is. And I'll tell you why. At the end of the episode. All right, here we go. Thanksgiving truth. Pike, do you want to know why what we know about Thanksgiving is kind of bullshit?
Why is that?
First of all, tell me what you think. Why do we celebrate Thanksgiving? Go.
Oh, I think it was the Pilgrims. They were looking, they had just landed, and they're like, well, we got to eat. And the Native Americans were there currently already. And so they were welcoming the Pilgrims with a nice meal.
Uh-huh. So it's like four staples. You got Pilgrims, you got food, you got Native Americans, and they were like a celebration. I mean, that's kind of what everyone is taught in school in the United States. Those four things, right? Yeah. I agree with you. I don't think. What do you got?
How many people are we talking about here? Because like the way I'm imagining it, it's like 6 Pilgrims and then like 4 Native Americans. But that doesn't make a lot of sense.
No. Let me tell you what's going on about Thanksgiving. You're talking about the one in Plymouth, Massachusetts. Okay, that happened in 1620. 1621, actually. They landed in 1620. They planted, their first harvest came about in 1621. So that's when they were celebrating their first harvest. And the reason why they're celebrating their first harvest is because the Native Americans kept them alive during the first winter where they're like, holy shit, it is fucking cold in Massachusetts here, people. Whoa! Did I underestimate how cold the New World was? Whoa! The wind coming off of the Cape Cod there, dude, I tell you, I don't know if that was Boston or Canadian, but it's close. Doesn't matter.
There's a little of everything.
Yeah, hey there, dude. I don't know why I said it like that, but don't you know? So look, you're not totally wrong, except for the whole Thanksgiving part, because the first Thanksgiving actually took place in 1619 in Virginia, Pike.
Okay.
Yes. This one doesn't get the pub it deserves. This one is well documented. This one, because it came from a ship. It was 38 British settlers. They landed there and they were like, oh my God. Literally, oh my God, we fucking made it. We made it across the ocean. Woo! Oh, God, you know what? We should say big thanks to the big guy for getting us across that ocean, dude. We got to write this down, okay? Every year from now on, giving thanks, because this shit is awesome. That was it in 1619. So that was the first Thanksgiving. It actually happened in Virginia. There's a little monument in Virginia dedicated to the first Thanksgiving, not in Plymouth, Massachusetts.
Very interesting.
So it didn't even happen with Pilgrims, man. So when you're giving thanks to Thanksgiving dinner to Pilgrims, British
who were
people.
They again? Weren't the British the Pilgrims, or who were the Pilgrims?
The Pilgrims were Puritans, religious Puritans some came from England, some came from the Netherlands. They were Dutch. Because you weren't allowed to go against the Church of England in the 1600s. So what they ended up doing is they moved where they can get religious freedom. And then what they did was they go, oh, wait a minute. We don't have to go to the Netherlands. We can go to this new world over there. And then so they left to go escape. And that's why we have religious freedom here. That was kind of like ingrained because that was a big part of it. So,
wow.
Yeah. So anyway, there's a bunch of conflicting stories about the Pilgrims giving food to the here we go. I'm going to mess up the tribe's name here. Wampanoag. Wampanoag? Wampanoag. Wampanoag? I'm going Wampanoag. Oh,
it's got to be Wamp. I think it's Wamp.
Wamp. Not a Wamp. Maybe they're Wham fans, big George Michael fans. Wampanoag tribe, and their way of saying, holy shit, thank you for getting through the first winter. That was in 1621. The Pilgrims had their first successful harvest, and they gave food to the Wampanoag tribe. Now, here's the thing. The Wampanoag tribe, they're still around. There's not very many members of the Wampanoag tribe around anymore. And that's because a lot of them died of disease, which they originally thought was smallpox that were given to them by the Pilgrims. Later, science is now saying that that's not true. So a lot of them died off. There was an epidemic, how fitting, this time of year, in 2020, I should say. So they gave them food. They survived this whole thing. And it's kind of like a nice story, like the story that we were taught in school. That's the Thanksgiving that we were taught. However, in 1623, Governor William Bradford, he actually planned the feast. Okay, he's the governor. He's one of these religious Puritans that have come. He was English, then he went to the Netherlands, then he traveled here to the colonies at the time. 1623, he was like, I love these guys. You guys are great. Peace, guys. Native tribe, the Wampanoag. You guys are great, okay? But by 1630, the Pequot tribe, I guess, killed a white man. And then this dude led the Pilgrims to burn down their villages. They burned people alive. They killed the Native Americans that weren't burned alive in the fires. Yeah, dude, this was 7 years later. He's like, change of heart, guys. Thanksgiving is now about celebrate. This is real. This is what this guy did. He changed the meaning of Thanksgiving in 1630. He goes, Thanksgiving's no longer about giving thanks to the natives. Thanksgiving's about giving thanks to God because we won in a giant bloody victory against them. So it's now a commemoration to God that we killed Native Americans. What a flip of Thanksgiving that is, dude.
That's fucking wild.
Yeah, this is what they celebrated for the next 30 years. They were like, yeah, we killed Native Americans. Woohoo! And the first time they were like, we love you. Thank you for saving our lives. Like, what a difference, dude.
Yeah. A real ring around the rosy. So what eventually, because as far as I know, that's not what we're celebrating like in 2020. So why did that change again?
So it changed again. It changed a bunch of times. Okay. And this is why Thanksgiving, like the narrative of Thanksgiving is kind of bullshit because it's been jockeyed around so many different times. What ended up happening was you have each state has their own Thanksgiving celebration. It has their own like, okay, we're going to celebrate it this time. We're going to celebrate it this time. We're going to celebrate it this time. They think the first one was celebrated in September, not even November. But it became a national holiday because of a political move. It was actually used as a political move, and it was actually created as a national holiday by Abraham Lincoln. And yeah, dude, it was pitched to him as a way to unite families that were separated by the war, kind of like bring the familial unit back together because it happened in 1863. It's right in the middle of the Civil War. Guess who told Abe Lincoln like this? He's like, it was a lady. She was rallying for it. She's like, yo, Abe, bro. Okay. Some shit going on there. In the Mason-Dixon line. This is like, it's all going down. All right. Real bad. It's not looking good. You know what we need? We need like a way to bring families together. So it kind of reminds me of 2020 when you have like, if you have a family member that's like, Trump is the devil. And you got another family member that's like, Trump is the greatest ever, So you have like, families being torn apart politically. That was happening in 1863. It just obviously was way worse than it is now. So this lady, her name is Sarah Josepha Hale. Sarah Josepha Hale wrote to Abraham Lincoln saying, yo, we need to create a Thanksgiving. I mean, this is it. Fun fact as well, she's also the lady who wrote Mary Had a Little Lamb. It's the same lady.
Jesus Christ.
So
All comes full circle.
Dude, Mary Had a Little Lamb was written by the lady who got Abe Lincoln to sign Thanksgiving a national holiday. So there it goes. It became a national holiday during the Civil War, 1863. It also got jockeyed around later on because of political reasons. Like Lincoln made the last Thursday of November Thanksgiving. That's Honest Abe's like, it's always going to be on this day. Burr, 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 burr. And then the CEO of what would become Macy's, the department store, wrote FDR, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, saying, hey, dude, shopping season's a little too small. Okay, we can't celebrate Christmas until we celebrate Thanksgiving. What if we move Thanksgiving up a week? And they did it. They moved Thanksgiving so the shopping season would be longer.
I love that.
Yeah. Macy's moved Thanksgiving. People were, again, separated politically by this. You had all the Democrats were like, it's going to boost us out of the Great Depression. It's got a great idea. And then you had Republicans going, how dare you dishonor Abe Lincoln, you motherfuckers, right? And they were torn by this whole thing. And they called it, because it was FDR who did it, they called it Franksgiving. So you had families that were celebrating Thanksgiving on the third Thursday of November. Then you had other people were like, this is bullshit. I'm sticking with my tradition. Celebrating on the fourth Thursday of November. It was just, dude, it was hilarious there for a couple years in the 30s and 40s. And then eventually FDR goes, you know what? My bad. That was kind of fucked up. Let's move Thanksgiving back. So
Jesus,
they moved it back. And Thanksgiving has been on the last Thursday of the month ever since. So there you have it. That's the background of Thanksgiving. So
how does that feel? You know so much about Thanksgiving, arguably more than anybody.
I disagree. You know as much as I do now about Thanksgiving.
I couldn't recite everything you just said.
It's in the show notes on this episode.
Oh, great.
On sparksradio.com. You could just go ahead and read it all. I'll just put it all up there.
Perfect. I wasn't taking notes. That would be good.
Yeah.
That's
come on.
Yeah. I mean, just the Mary Had a Little. Sorry to go back to that, but that is maybe the wildest shit I've ever heard.